more often than not, in the pursuit of our goals, we stress ourselves out. We feel anxiety, overwhelm, and frustration because we so badly want to be at the goal that we forget to enjoy the process. Now, this is the part where I would say something along the lines of, enjoy the journey, not the destination. But if I were to say that, I would probably have to slap myself in the face. In this video, I'm going to talk about why your goals are making you miserable and a few ways to actually enjoy the path to the goal just as much as arriving at the destination. Tal Ben-Shahar, the Harvard-trained positive psychologist expert and author of Happier, learned the secrets to daily joy and lasting fulfillment, coined the term arrival fallacy, which is this illusion that once we make it, once we attain our goal or reach our destination, we will reach lasting happiness. You know, if you've ever gotten to one of your goals and haven't felt the way that you thought that you would when you got there, most likely you've experienced this phenomenon where you had these optimistic feelings of once I get this thing, once I have the money, once I have the relationship, then I'll feel happy. But when you get that thing, it still seems like there's something missing. What I'm going to break down now is 3 ways that you can utilize right now to really understand how to break the goal down into smaller chunks, but most of all, how to actually enjoy the journey just as much as the destination. Number 1, focus on excellence in execution. You know, so many times we move as quickly as possible to go from point A, where we are, to our goal, point B, that we make mistakes, we have to retrace our steps, and we have to fix problems that we've created. There is a term in functional fitness called slow is smooth and smooth is fast. A lot of times when we slow down the process, it's a lot easier to do things like focus on form and really be able to have a level of excellence in execution where each action that we're taking, we focus on doing that to the best of our ability. Now, this isn't to say that you get stuck on perfectionism or anything like that, but there is a way to actually focus on doing things in a way that fosters excellence so you're not rushing to get where you're going and you can actually be present for each step of the process. Number 2, trust that you are exactly where you need to be. As I mentioned earlier, so many times when we think about the goal, we have this grand vision of, oh, when I get there, I'll feel so much better. Everything else will be easier. But there's a Haitian proverb that says, beyond mountains, there are more mountains. This is simply to say that even though we think that we'll be better, feel better, everything will be better when we get to our goal, there's beauty in being at peace with where you are. And even when we do achieve that goal, beyond mountains, there are more mountains says that no matter what, we're going to continue to set new goals. We're going to continue to climb those proverbial mountains of goal achievement and to be able to be content where you are in the process now and not have to arrive at the destination will give you more peace in the process on your way to achieving the goal. One very simple tip or trick that you can insert here is if you ever feel yourself getting speedy or rushing or wanting to be somewhere other than where you are, you can simply just pause, put your hand on your heart and say, I am exactly where I need to be. This can really help to relax our nervous system and calm our senses so that we're not trying to get somewhere other than where we are, because in actuality, that's impossible. Trying to be further along or at the goal is not absolutely possible when you're at an earlier stage in the process, and making peace with where you are is the first step to actually getting to where you want to go. Number 3, last and definitely not least, is inserting more opportunities for fun and connection along the way. There's this myth, especially for those of us who work for ourselves, who own our own business, or who are coaches and consultants or healers or practitioners, is that we have to be working 24/7, 365. And there's almost this sense of guilt that if I'm not doing, that I should be doing something. And in effect, what happens is that relationships suffer, we don't experience as much fun, and there is a sense of guilt when we even schedule something that's not work related. One way to very much so bust the myth of I have to be working all the time in order to get to my goal is to be able to insert fun and connection along the way. This is something that I've been very, very diligent to do as of late, because I've noticed that I tend to get into that habit as well of making sure that I am always working and I don't necessarily give myself the break. I've inserted a rule that I am 2 to 3 days a week. I am scheduling something where I am either going out to lunch, going out to dinner, hanging out with friends, and having quality time to do things that I enjoy. That way, I know that I'm getting that in and I'm not making everything about work. The cool thing about this, and what I've experienced myself, is when I make time for these things, I actually forget about all of the problems or worries or anxieties that may be revolving in my consciousness about what I'm trying to do or stress about work. And those things tend to melt away without even trying to get them to go away. You know, it's easy to want to put the blinders on and just focus at breakneck speed and try to get to the goal. But what I've noticed is that when I can insert some of these things into my process, the journey becomes a lot more enjoyable, and the arrival fallacy that I spoke to earlier doesn't necessarily happen, because it is simply that, it's a fallacy. It is one of those things where we're not necessarily happier once we get to the goal, but it is in curating and cultivating a process that's more enjoyable that can actually make the goal more satisfying. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit that little bell that notifies you every time a new episode goes live. Until next time, see you soon.